This is the Soft Power Podcast, episode 19. Hi, thank you for joining me. I'm so glad that you're here. Today's topic is important no matter where you are professionally and socially. It's about how the average person tiptoes through life hoping to make it safely to the end without any bumps or bruises. What they're avoiding is anything that creates a level of fear, like fear of pretty much anything you've been putting off or avoiding and delaying. Also, the fear you have of new experiences, new people, and circumstances. And here's the thing, you could choose to be excited. In fact, you may not see your failure to move forward as being caused by fear. But excitement rarely, if ever, is the catalyst for inaction. Fear is something that we're going to experience from time to time, and I'm not talking about a quick passing rush of adrenaline when something unexpected occurs. It's really so much bigger than that. It can be debilitating and the one thing that stands between you and the realization of your dreams. Today I'm going to address fears that my clients and members of the Soft Power Society have expressed, and it's my sincere hope that if you recognize yourself or your habits in today's episode, that you perhaps use the guidance I'm going to share to push through and emerge victorious on the other side of fear. In fact, I would like very much to hear from you. If this or any Soft Power Podcast episode is of value to you, please let me know, because every topic comes from the lives and circumstances of you, the people that I aim to help. The thing about fear is that it can be so elusive, you don't even realize why you continuously do everything in your power to not face it head on. I can tell you right now, without pause, that I'm currently working with people who have a fear of not succeeding, meaning they're not going to receive the reward even though they've put in the work. And others who fear failure for no logical reason whatsoever. There's also the fear of not achieving your dreams, the fear of making a fool of yourself in front of colleagues or superiors, the fear of what may happen if you leave your current company or make a total career change, and also the fear of ridicule when you publish or speak or in any way bring attention to yourself. Not one person managing the irrational fears just mentioned came to me for that particular reason. Their fears are the underlying cause for inaction in other areas of their life, and all of this is just a result of thought errors or the creation of false thoughts in your mind. Have you ever taken a moment to consider that it's your right, actually your birthright, to follow your dreams and passions and feel confident enough to share them with others if you so choose? So when the fear of ridicule holds you back, and sadly that ridicule can come from people close to you, you just have to move forward, because no one who's in a good place in their life will waste time tearing someone else down. That's the truth. There are times when you just have to cut ties or limit interactions with people who don't contribute to your life in a positive way. And if it's an internet troll, you don't even know the person, don't concern yourself with someone else's issues. Most of the time, what you fear most doesn't even occur, and I know you've had the occasion to complete something you've put off for far too long, only to say, "What was I thinking? Why did I wait for so long?" We've all had the occasion at some point to ponder what caused us to jam on the brakes and spin constantly in indecision for a ridiculously long period of time. I've been there, and I know firsthand what it's like. I've already shared with you on a previous episode that 3 years lapsed between my purchasing podcasting equipment and my publishing the first episode. Soft Power Society, that was fear. Some days I called my fear doing research, and other days I called it planning. And I didn't fool anyone, least of all myself. I was afraid of recording my voice. And even though every day I coach and help to change the lives of some pretty accomplished professionals and business owners, and I train groups in the corporate world and in higher ed, I still couldn't bring myself to speak into a microphone with no one listening live. Now, my friends, that's irrational. And once I got started, of course, I said, why did I wait so long? What was I thinking? I was spinning and indecision, just like many of you, because of fear. I was afraid of the sound of my voice, but I did it anyway. I feared ridicule, but I did it anyway. I didn't have previous podcasting experience, and no one had been unkind to me. The fear was a thought that I created, and it needlessly held me back. No matter what it is, we have to power through. Feel the fear and do it anyway. What is fear? It's certainly not real. I know it feels real when you're experiencing it, and nothing can hold you back from your full potential and achieving your goals quite like fear. It keeps you playing small, it limits your success, it stunts your progress, and keeps you from being seen and heard and understood in your profession. It makes you observe your colleagues achieving what you want but didn't have the courage or confidence to do. That's a tragedy. Whether it's the fear of initiating a conversation with someone you admire, or speaking up in a meeting, or going after something you've rightfully earned, like a promotion or a raise, I get it that just thinking about it can leave you completely paralyzed. The question to ask yourself is, what's causing the inaction? Then making an action plan to move on it. Now, please know that it's not my intention to sound as if facing fears head on can be easily achieved by a snap of your fingers. But I do know that understanding its genesis and knowing that you can easily do the work required will help you get to where you want to be. You actually may not even recognize that fear is the reason why you still haven't applied for a new job. You may have convinced yourself that you're too busy right now, or maybe 6 months down the road will be a better time. Fear is absolutely one of the strongest forces in our lives, and it can manifest itself in many ways, like fear of failure, or fear of loss, fear of change. Many people fear change. They want things to stay the same every day, year in, year out. The fear of risk, the fear of being a success in your field. Only humans fear something that might happen. And of course, that's often accompanied by overthinking, which leads to not taking action because you're pondering every little minute detail. I can understand that some of you say, that's just my intuition kicking in. But fear and intuition are not one and the same. Intuition is that gentle nudge that ensures we're conscious and self-aware in a way that reminds you that you've been here before or experienced a similar feeling or circumstance. On the other hand, fear for the most part is provoked by irrational emotions rather than fact or experience-based thinking. It has, I would say, delusional, definitely disempowering qualities, and it demands the things of your self-control that you would otherwise not even entertain for a moment, which is why it holds you back from achieving something. If you allow it, fear will pervade every facet of your life. Other common fears you may recognize in yourself and others include the fear of rejection. And you could also add to this list the fear of poverty, the fear of losing everything, the fear of being abandoned, the fear of embarrassment. Certainly death and loss would be on this list, and the fear of not being good enough or measuring up to others. We could also talk about the fear of uncertainty, not knowing what's going to happen next. But should you know everything that's going to happen next? The fear of failure, the fear of missing out, the fear of change, the fear of the unknown. I think the last one, the fear of the unknown, is actually at the root of all the others. And we fear the unknown because we haven't prepared our minds for the outcome of our effort. Another word for that is visualization, which can be a wonderful daily practice where you see and create your future. which is pretty much how you've acquired everything in your home or your office or in your life, but that's a larger topic that can be left for another day. We fear we'll lose out on a job offer or promotion, and that fear keeps us from applying in the first place, all because of thoughts that aren't true. Even the fear of success is based on the worry that we're not good enough, and therein lies the irrationality of thoughts. But here's the thing. Encountering fear is natural, and it's bound to occur whenever we're presented with something outside our comfort zone, and especially when we're accustomed to seeing someone other than ourselves having already achieved something similar. Not allowing it to stop you from completing basic tasks and initiatives is where you have to put in the work. If you aren't able to overcome your fears in life and in business, you simply won't reach your full potential. And as the saying goes, you'll die with your music still inside of you. The thing about conquering fears is that it has a domino effect, with the big fear you're currently harboring being that lead domino. And once you knock down that first domino, all of the others just fall in line, one after the other. So action is a prerequisite for everything. So it's impossible to take action and be immobilized by fear at the same time, right? Sort of like going forward and backward at the same time. You just end up rocking or in neutral, which is definitely not a sign of progress. So everyone has fear, absolutely everyone. You're not a special snowflake who's putting off the same thing day after day, and you are the only one on the planet doing this. First, acknowledging your fear is a huge first step. Acknowledge it right away, like today, maybe like this moment. Many of us have these fears, but they're at the back of our mind, unnoticed, unacknowledged, and we try to ignore them and pretend they're not there. But they are, and they affect us every day. The great motivational speaker Brian Tracy has a well-known productivity method that he calls Eat That Frog. The general premise is that you tend to consume all the tasty bits all day, every day, and you leave that non-tasty frog, which for our purposes is the activity you fear, until last. And you never get around to consuming it. And it's still there, untouched, the next day. And frankly, the thought of consuming a frog is unappealing. So it never gets ticked off the to-do list. But that frog still isn't going away, and you must eat it. So one day you finally flip your priorities and eat the frog before anything else. Then move quickly through your remaining tasks with a feeling of elation. So start by writing down that frog or fear. When you write it down, it brings the fear you're dealing with out into the light of day and outside of you where you have power over it. Now, when you're committed to making yourself useful and being a person of value, you don't have time for fear. Fear thrives on idle time, so don't give it any time whatsoever. Just step up and do what you were called to do. I think it's an exhilarating feeling to face a fear head on and win the day. What you'll find afterward are a plethora of opportunities that come as a result of the effort that you made. Case in point, had I not faced my deep-seated fears, I would not be ideally positioned to guide my clients today. Action without question creates clarity. Don't walk away from something that scares you. Whenever something scares you, just do it. Move towards it. See these situations as a challenge that just allows you to grow. Why would you purposely remove opportunities for growth from your life? That live video you dread recording, why not make it today? Rather than make excuses, just take small steps towards it. One little baby step at a time, because you know you can. You know you'll get there. Just keep making the small steps to completion and that victory that feels so good. Fear is the enemy, without question, of self-confidence. Self-confident people face their fears and act. Procrastination, on the other hand, is the manifestation of fear. If you listen to this episode 2 or 3 times, You will keep embedding these thoughts into your subconscious until facing and overcoming your fears has become a habit that powers you through easily and effortlessly. When you say, I don't want to contact that customer because it's lunchtime, now insert your example in here. What is the actual fear behind that? Are you thinking they may not want to work with me, or I may not be good enough, or they probably selected my competitor? What if you're right? But also, what if you're wrong? All those thoughts will do for sure is keep you from succeeding and cowering rather than being confident, and letting your peers surpass you in your career is not what you are here to do. You're here to make your mark in the world in the most profound and powerful way possible. It's never too late to get out of your comfort zone. Way too many people convince themselves that they're satisfied where they currently are. You have to challenge yourself. I remember my first public speech as a professional. I invited my mom to join me for moral support. I wasn't a kid, and it was long after I graduated from college. I was still trying to manage fear from my youth. I survived, and then I did it again and again. That's why you need to get out of your comfort zone. It allows you to experience the ups and downs of life and gain the confidence that comes from overcoming challenges. Precisely what images come to mind when feelings of fear rise to your surface? It's seldom, if ever, as bad as we think. It's really in your best interest to take this task or directive seriously. That's because I've come to realize through my coaching practice that there's a very high likelihood that you haven't thought it through to the end. You're still stuck. Immobilize is a better word. At step 1, what you will find once you visualize the outcome is that you'll live. You'll wake up the next day more courageous for having moved past your fear. It's an amazing and empowering feeling, I guarantee you. When you find yourself thinking about what you deem to be negative or less than favorable outcomes in the past, immediately bring yourself back and be in the current moment, because this moment now is the only thing that we control. Do something right now to beat your fears and forget about what may happen. Is it making a call you've been putting off, or signing a client, or speaking with your boss? Just having fear wash over you momentarily is a sign that you should follow through with your thought. The only thing that will help you overcome fear is taking immediate action, and definitely not putting it off. That is exactly what separates you from successful people, or the people you choose to admire. I'm willing to bet that the people you admire in your profession have that aura of success precisely because they face their fears. And if on the off chance you face the fear and the outcome is not in your favor, you are still better off for having tried than if you had chosen to run away, play it safe, and have someone else get the rewards that were intended for you. Fear is one of the greatest obstacles you'll face in life. It is the most difficult challenge you will ever be put to, and the most important one to overcome. How fortunate are you to have been given everything you need to do this? I know that you've got this. Soft Power Society. If you find it difficult to speak up, assert yourself, and get the recognition you deserve, I'm inviting you to get on the list for Introvert to Influencer. It's the #1 proven step-by-step system to help you speak up, stand out, and step into the spotlight. You can get on the list by going to businessclass.expert and clicking on the banner. Thanks for joining me today. Bye for now.